Hello, everyone. My name is David Gerstel, and in my research, I'm looking at the information needs of international students in U.S. universities. I was particularly interested in the everyday information needs of these students outside of the information needs that they have in libraries and classrooms. My general approach within this is that challenges to information seeking result in a kind of social isolation, whereas effective information access and use results in acculturation. International students, like any other migrant group, are acclimating to a new sociocultural context, the ability to read the cues of that context, the ability to find and use information in that context will further integrate them into the context and bring them into a new community. My theoretical positions in this research we've run across in this class before: everyday life information seeking, how do we find coherence and normalcy in our social context? Sense making, how do we bridge information gaps? How do we identify what we don't know yet and then fill that void? And finally, as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, affect in information. How do we feel when we're information seeking? What are the kinds of anxiety, confusion, and ultimately satisfaction and empowerment that information users go through? In my research, I found a total of 7 common extra-academic information needs that international students experience. These include health, housing, finance, careers, legal status, local culture, and news from home. News from home being one of the most important ones. But that's paired with local culture insofar as, like, an international student is kind of performing this balancing act between being in in 2 places at the same time. My sources suggested that common barriers to information seeking are actually probably more important than the information needs themselves. If we look at the information needs, these are not so different from what a domestic student might actually experience. But international students experience some common barriers to information seeking that need to be mentioned. These include language proficiency, ethnic or national insularity. They tend to cluster together based on ethnicity or nationality. Loneliness, homesickness, discrimination, and different cultural values regarding seeking help for their information needs. Within this research, I was able to develop a set of recommendations for information systems policy that I think flow from the information needs that students have, the common barriers that they have, and then are informed by the theoretical positions that I took up. First, we should look to have coherent sources. Our sources need to be linguistically and culturally understandable for international students. They should not include idioms, turns of phrases, or various kinds of linguistic idiosyncrasies that international students might not be familiar with, and so we should aim towards coherence across a number of different languages and cultural expectations. Second, I think we should aim for credibility. We should look to the ways that students find credibility in their information sources. And in my research, this turns out to be other international students. We should look to developing mentoring systems in which 1 year of international students is helping to guide the next in their information needs and seeking. Our social media sources should try to mimic this kind of interpersonal information seeking and information use. Finally, I think that we need to impress upon international students that social acclimation is a process that includes anxiety, confusion, and successes that everyone experiences, that their struggles to find information and use it are not so different from those of a domestic student, that everyone who is attending college is actually going through a process of acclimation. And so I think that with these recommendations, we might be able to, to further socialize to international students and to help them get the information that they need. Thank you for listening.